Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. During the 2-year time skip, each member of the Straw Hat crew went through brutal, solitary, and transformative training. But among them all, perhaps the one who bore the greatest weight of honor, promise, and sacrifice was Roronoa Zoro. He is the swordsman who vowed to become the world's greatest to fulfill a promise made to his childhood friend Kuina, and who, after nearly dying at Thriller Bark to protect Luffy, became the most loyal of Nakama. And it's precisely this unwavering sense of duty that may hide the shocking truth about his left eye. He asked Mihawk to cut it of his own free will. At first glance, the idea sounds absurd. Why would Zoro ask for something so extreme? Why would someone so committed to the way of the sword give up his own sight? But it starts to make sense when we consider the kind of training Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman, would give to his only disciple. Mihawk's goal was never just to teach perfect cuts or improve haki. His purpose was to break Zoro, rebuild him, and force him to understand that a true swordsman's power doesn't lie only in brute strength or skill, but in total control of the mind and spirit, and above all, in accepting sacrifice. To Mihawk, true mastery of the sword demands more than technique. It demands transcendence. And as proof of total dedication, he proposed a test for Zoro, to fight with only one eye and still defeat any opponent. It was a living metaphor. Cutting the left eye wasn't just mutilation, it was a ritual, a milestone, a silent pact between master and student. Zoro accepted, and more than that, he asked for it. Not out of madness, not on impulse, but because he understood what that act truly meant. Zoro has always stood out for his immense strength and absurd endurance. But he knew that wouldn't be enough. He had already faced enemies like Mr. One, Kaku, and Kuma. He knew the new world would demand more. When he knelt before Mihawk at the beginning of the time skip and said, "Please, train me," he also set aside his pride, something Zoro almost never does. So, when Mihawk proposed the challenge of giving up his vision, Zoro saw it as a hidden lesson. After all, what greater weakness is there for a swordsman than to lose one of his eyes? That was when a new kind of determination was born. Mihawk cut Zoro's left eye, but what he truly did was awaken a dormant power. The cut wasn't deep enough to reach the brain or cause complete blindness. On the contrary, it was done with surgical precision. Since then, Zoro has kept the eye shut, not just because he's blind, but because something inside him changed. Throughout the New World, we've seen signs that Zoro has become colder, more focused, more lethal. It's not just his sword strength that has grown, it's his perception. Zoro seems to sense presences before they even reveal themselves, like when he faced King in Onigashima. There are moments when he moves, as if he sees what's coming, anticipating movements even without both eyes. This only strengthens the theory that the closed eye holds more than a scar. It's a seal for the awakening of a new kind of haki or an instinct we don't yet fully understand. During his fight against King, Zoro reached a new level. He once again heard the voice of Enma, the sword that carries Odin's legacy, and was able to control it. This requires massive mastery of armament haki, but it also suggests a sensory refinement beyond the norm. What few people notice is that after that point, Zoro seemed to perceive attacks more sharply, as if the world around him had become clearer, even with his left eye closed. This brings us to another possibility. Zoro didn't just ask to have his eye cut as a form of sacrifice and training, but also to develop a new observation technique, one based on absolute instinct. Fighting without full vision trains the body to react based on feeling, the movement of air, the presence of the enemy. It's a form of observation haki that doesn't rely on sight, but on pure intuition. This practice isn't new. In ancient cultures, warrior monks would train blindfolded for years, developing senses beyond normal human limits. The same might be happening with Zoro. By keeping his eyes shut for so long, he's enhancing his sensitivity, refining his perception, and preparing for the day he finally decides to open that eye again, revealing something never before seen in one piece. And that leads us to another central point. What if Zoro's eye is just asleep? What if just as Luffy awakened Gear 5th and Sanji had his exoskeleton activated, Zoro's left eye hides a special kind of energy, perception, or even an ancient form of haki? There's a fan theory that Mihawk possesses a unique form of sight, his famous hawk eyes. If Mihawk truly has a rare eye ability, perhaps he passed on some of that knowledge to Zoro, symbolically and practically, initiating him into that power through pain, deprivation, and overcoming. Zoro asked Mihawk to cut him because he wanted to carry that burden, that symbol, that limit, and surpass it. He knew that only by being forged through absolute suffering could he become the swordsman Luffy deserves. More than that, he understood that Mihawk would never train someone who wasn't willing to go beyond flesh and bone, who wouldn't accept loss in order to learn how to win. Zoro's scar over his left eye then is not a training accident or a battle wound. It is a mark of choice, a locked door that Zoro keeps shut until the right right moment. Perhaps when the Straw Hat's destiny collides with the final secret of the Void Century, with Emu, or even with Mihawk himself in battle, Zoro will open that eye and reveal to the world why he is the successor to the greatest swordsman who ever lived. As a master and the greatest swordsman alive, Mihawk didn't just accept Zoro's request, he saw it as the ultimate sign of conviction a student could demonstrate. What Zoro asked for wasn't just a scar or intense training, he asked to give up, even temporarily, one of his greatest combat tools in exchange for a deeper mastery of his own spirit. And that's when Mihawk revealed something that few in the world knew: mastering observation. Haki wasn't just about sensory awareness, it also required self-restraint. To fully open the channels of intuition, according to Mihawk, one had to close other doors. And Zoro's left eye would become both the symbolic and physical key to that. During training, Mihawk put Zoro through battles in complete darkness, environments where traditional senses were useless, and the only way to survive was by surrendering to the instinct of the blade. Bit by bit, Zoro began awakening a new kind of sensitivity. It wasn't just about sensing presence anymore. He started feeling intent. He could sense hesitation in an enemy's strike, feel whether a sword wavered or came with killing intent. It was like reading the soul behind each movement. With every passing day, the left side of Zoro's body became more attuned to that kind of flow. It was as if his haki was accumulating there, being refined, centered. Mihawk warned that this constant buildup of haki could become unstable if Zoro didn't establish a physical limit. And so, one rainy night on the hill where they trained, Zoro asked Mihawk to seal that power with a final cut, a slash that would prevent him from using it normally until he was truly ready to release it. This wasn't just symbolic. Zoro's left eye, now shut, became like a sealed chamber, a well of spiritual energy and awareness, where his observation haki could ferment like aged wine. Since leaving Kuraigana Castle, that energy has only grown stronger, and Zoro has never opened it. Because opening it would mean unleashing a level of combat awareness so intense, so deadly, that it could threaten his own sanity if he wasn't fully prepared. But now, facing enemies who threaten the world and put his Nakama in absolute danger, like Saturn, Kizaru, or even the return of Rocks through Blackbeard, Zoro feels the moment is near. He no longer relies on brute strength alone. Ever since the fight with King when he realized that haki was the true essence of power, Zoro has been refining his own spirit like a blade forged in 1,000 degrees of fire. And when the moment comes, it won't just be a dramatic scene. It will be the birth of a new combat state, the blade of absolute perception, a mode in which Zoro doesn't just sense attacks, he predicts with absolute precision what's coming, and exactly where to strike to stop it. A precision that borders on fate, as if every blow were written into the timeline by his sword. That kind of power demands a cold soul, like Mihawk's, but also a blazing heart, like Zoro's, and only someone who has learned to balance both extremes can carry such a gift. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.